All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're going a little off the beaten path, exploring how ancient wisdom can be applied to modern entrepreneurship. I know. Sounds a little out there, right?
Yeah.
But bear with me. We're going to be looking at excerpts from a book called Shiva's 5 Rules, Ego Killing for Entrepreneurs. And honestly, when I first heard about it, I was skeptical. I mean, Shiva, the ancient deity, and entrepreneurship didn't quite see the connection.
Yeah, you and me both. It does seem a bit counterintuitive at first, I'll give you that.
So what exactly are we getting into here? What can we expect to gain from applying these principles? Is this about becoming more zen while pitching to VCs?
Well, not exactly. It's really about creating a framework for success, both professionally and personally. Think resilience, better decision-making, even a deeper sense of fulfillment in your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so less about meditation cushions, more about building better businesses and becoming better leaders. I'm listening. So let's dive into the first principle, detachment. Now, this one seems a little tricky, especially in the fast-paced, results-driven world of entrepreneurship. I mean, isn't a certain degree of attachment, of drive, of ambition necessary to fuel our goals?
You're absolutely right. You need that drive. But the key here is detaching from specific outcomes, from the fear of failure, not the goals themselves.
So it's more about focusing on the process, the journey, rather than fixating on a specific end result.
Exactly. It's about becoming more present, more adaptable, and more open to those calculated risks that are so crucial in entrepreneurship.
So like that saying, fall in love with the problem, not the solution.
Right on. The more engrossed you are in solving the problem, the less the outcome dictates your actions, and that can be very freeing.
I'm starting to see how that mindset shift could be beneficial, especially when dealing with the inevitable setbacks and pivots that come with starting a business. All right, next up is renunciation. Now, this one really threw me for a loop. I mean, isn't entrepreneurship all about acquiring things, funding, customers, market share?
It is, but this principle isn't about giving up everything you own and living in a cave. It's about conscious simplification, prioritizing what truly matters, letting go of the need to control every single thing.
So less is more, focusing on what brings value and cutting out the noise.
Precisely. Think of it like Marie Kondoing your business.
Okay, love that analogy. And this applies to more than just physical things, right?
Right. It's about trusting your team, empowering them to make decisions. That can lead to a more agile, responsive, and ultimately more successful organization.
Letting go to gain more control. Never thought of it that way. Okay, so we've got detachment, renunciation. Now this next one, humility, seems like it could be a tough one for some entrepreneurs. Isn't a healthy ego necessary to drive innovation, to push boundaries?
Confidence is definitely key, but there's a fine line between confidence and ego. This principle is about acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, being open to feedback, even if it's tough to hear.
So it's about learning from others, recognizing that success is rarely a solo act.
Exactly. It's about constantly seeking out ways to learn and grow, even if it means admitting you were wrong.
All right, starting to see a theme here. These principles really challenge us to rethink our approach to success, both personally and professionally.
And that's what makes them so powerful. They force us to confront those deeply ingrained beliefs about what it means to be successful.
Okay, before we get too far ahead, let's dive deeper into the remaining 2 principles. Focus on inner growth and devotion. I'm really curious to hear how these spiritual concepts translate into tangible actions and results in the business world.
You know, it's pretty cool how these principles, they kind of build on each other.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it's like detachment and renunciation create the space for this next principle, focus on inner growth.
Yeah.
But how do we actually apply that? What does it look like for an entrepreneur?
It's about seeing those inevitable challenges, the setbacks, pivots, even failures, not as like the end of the world, but as opportunities for learning and growth.
So every obstacle, every pivot, every failed experiment, it's all a chance to become a better, more resilient leader.
Exactly. And it's ongoing, right? It's about always pushing your boundaries, expanding your skill set, becoming more resourceful. You're never done learning.
So you're not just building a business, you're building yourself up along the way.
Yeah, and that's crucial in today's market, right? Things change so fast, you need to be able to adapt. Think about Amazon, right? They started as just an online bookstore.
Wow. Yeah, and now they're, Amazon. A total e-commerce giant.
Right. That kind of adaptability comes from that growth mindset, from that commitment to continuous learning and evolution.
Okay, so we've got detachment, renunciation, focus on inner growth. Now let's talk about devotion. I got to admit, this one seems a little, mystical or something. How does devotion fit into the business world?
It's about shifting your perspective. It's moving from that me focus to a we focus, recognizing that your business is part of something bigger, like a whole ecosystem.
So it's about acknowledging that sense of interconnectedness, that our success is tied to the well-being of our team, our customers, even our community.
Exactly. You start fostering a company culture that prioritizes things like collaboration, empathy, shared success. Think about a company like Patagonia, for example.
Oh, yeah, they're known for their commitment to the environment, right?
Exactly. It's a core part of their brand, and it resonates with customers, attracts top talent, and ultimately drives both profit and positive impact.
So it's about aligning your business with a purpose that goes beyond just making money. It's about making a positive contribution to the world.
Yes, and that sense of purpose can be incredibly motivating, right, for everyone involved. Creates a shared sense of mission, fosters engagement, loyalty. It's about building something you're truly proud of, not just for the financial success, but for what it gives back to the world.
It's amazing, really, how these principles, even though they're ancient in origin, they feel so incredibly relevant to the challenges we face today. It's like they offer a timeless wisdom.
I agree. And what they're really highlighting is that true success, it's not just about wealth or status, it's about living a life of meaning and purpose. And that's something that resonates with people across generations and industries.
Yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot where passion, purpose, and impact intersect. And on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've really explored these 5 principles in depth, talked about how they can be applied in real life, both professionally and personally.
It has been a really fascinating exploration, and I hope our listeners are starting to see the potential here, how these seemingly simple concepts can have a real impact on their lives and work.
Wow, what a deep dive this has been. Exploring these 5 principles from Shiva's 5 rules, ego killing for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? How these ancient ideas can still be so relevant to us today.
It's pretty amazing. It's not just about building a successful business, it's about creating a life of meaning, purpose, and real happiness.
Exactly. And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Oh, I like where this is going. Lay it on us.
Okay, so imagine, just for a minute, that you fully embrace these 5 principles: detachment, renunciation, humility, focus on inner growth, and devotion. How do you think that would change things for you? Not just in your work, but in your life as a whole.
That's a big question. It really makes you think beyond the usual stuff like funding and market share and focus on what really matters.
Yeah, it's about shifting your perspective, moving away from scarcity and competition and embracing abundance and collaboration, realizing that we're all in this together, that our success is intertwined.
It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. When we focus on service and interconnectedness, everyone benefits.
Exactly, and that's what's so powerful about these principles. They offer a way to create a more sustainable, equitable, and ultimately more joyful way of living and working in the world.
So, to our listeners out there, I want to echo that question. Which of these principles really speaks to you?
And how can you start incorporating it into your daily life, both professionally and personally?
We encourage you to give it a try. Experiment, reflect, and see what happens when you approach your goals with this new sense of purpose and connection.
Remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Well said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up our deep dive into Shiva's 5 rules for entrepreneurs. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
We hope you've gained some insights that will help you navigate your own entrepreneurial journey with more clarity, purpose, and joy.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.